Hello everyone. This is going to be a little different video, kind of a potpourri of viewers submitted photos, some my photos. We're going to look at some from past International Space Station and going to get into a little theory kind of conversation. So this was submitted by a subscriber who lives here in Denver. Steve and I did a program on this yesterday, but I've been looking at this and conversing with a number of other subscribers on the effects that we're seeing, particularly where these iridescent clouds are concerned. Now, this was a very unusual day, and I want to make clarification that the first two photos in this set of four was taken up in Keystone, Colorado. The last two were taken down here on the Front Range from Denver. So as you can see, now I've changed my mouse cursor so people say, well, I can't see it. Well, I hope you can see it now. So we want to talk about what's happening here. Now, scientists and meteorologists will tell you that these clouds are caused by ice crystals and how the sunlight is bent and produces these nanosecond clouds. Well, I have no disagreement with that. This was obviously Keystone, Colorado is some 10,000 feet above sea level, so that would make sense. But there's something else that was going on here. And so let's just kind of walk this through. As you can see here, this is what we'll be actually talking about. So the next picture that we have is by the way, great powder up there, eh? I don't ski anymore. Too many knee surgeries. But yeah, so we can see again, and I have caught these here in Denver many, many times, and they're quite beautiful. But it's what's happening that presents a problem where these are concerned. Look at this. Just beautiful up there. Now, I know, particularly when this was taken, that this was up past the Continental Divide, that here in the Front Range, it was cloudy. So we would say, okay, well, that would happen. But when you look at these particularly, and you begin to see so many times, it's got this greasy look to it, almost like back in the days when we used to do light shows at the major concerts. Back in those days, we just simply would get an overhead projector and we would do different color of oils and project it onto the stage. But so this makes sense. Got no problem with this. Beautiful, in fact. Now, this is where things begin to get a little odd. This picture is being examined by many people. Steve and I did a really good analysis on it, and I'm going to give my own opinion on it to you. So, strange things going on. First of all, is this rainbow. And there appears to be an object back here, correct? We all can see this. This is the sun. And then we see this. Now, our physicist has done a number of great papers. I've done a couple of programs on this. Go back in the archives and you can see it. This, well, it's within the laws of physics, but it's within the laws of physics of understanding how light bends, how light refracts, and particularly what we're seeing in our atmosphere. And it gets even more stranger. This is obviously the dark halo that people have seen around the world, but here is our mystery. This can't happen. Well, let me restate that. The only physical way, complying with the science of light, photons, optics, right? How it works in our atmosphere, this is impossible. Unless this is an object. Now, I took the liberty. Oh, this was another one submitted by a subscriber. Got no freaking idea on this one, folks. Seriously. You look at this and you go, okay, I really don't know what's going on here. I'm sure that there is an explanation somewhere, but at first glance of this leads to me to think that there is some serious plasma reaction taking place in the atmosphere. So I did take the liberty of putting this through a couple of filters. And it gets really bizarre. So here's what we're seeing. We're definitely seeing the light compression here. So this is either being compressed and or refracted, right? To get a rainbow, I've never seen a rainbow on any of the halos. If you out there happen to maybe know of some, send them to me. I'll post them. But this tells me again, there's something seriously going on here. So let's just continue with our little experiment. Now, this begins to take on even more interesting dynamics, because what I'm seeing in this particular filter, this is to me a telling sign. When you get light now in that spectrum, there's something causing this. You can say, well, it looks to be a solid object. Solid? I don't know. I mean, aren't there gaseous planets? I wonder if there's gaseous moons. But what I can understand is that if this is one object, then what is this? Why, seriously, I don't know. Here we take our picture here. I've ran it through a number of different filters, adjusting gamma, saturation, exposure, temperature, primarily. So if we say that this is a halo, that presents some challenges, but okay. If it was a halo caused by ice crystals, why is the light being compressed here? And you can clearly see that the light by this object here, I'm sure if we had the opportunity from the photographer that was taking this had pulled back, I am most likely, what I think probably will happen, because I've actually caught one, and I'll actually post some of those. I have seen this before. And what happens as it begins to get to the north side, the top, the diffusion in our atmosphere becomes more profound. So you can see again more evidence. Now, I have a really good friend who's a subscriber who lives over in Norway. And he sent this to me and he said, we should take a look at this. Now, let's keep in mind what we saw here, right? These are the Sumerian tablets. Take a look at this, folks. And he has done us the favor of actually putting this and diagramming it. So we know that this was the disk that was found in Germany. Depending on what your position is of the last crossing. I get sometimes a different interpretation that I don't believe this is Nibiru. I believe that this system may have already been here. In fact, I am one of the people who is leaning towards the theory that our solar system may be larger than what we can even imagine. We're still understanding the dynamics now of our sun and the influence, and understanding that there are multiple brown dwarfs, white dwarfs. We can see black holes. The theory now is that black holes can open up like wormholes. But pay attention to this, right? Here we see this again. Now, I found this of interest through an interpretation, and it's an interpretation. Departure nears the Pleiades. Think about this. The mission to inspire arrest and trials of the evil elite manipulators and cast them into hell. And then the deity with the fork rod opens the stargate, arrival, Earth. I believe that the ancients, whether you look at the Old Testament and the prophets, they definitely were seers. But seers exist throughout many cultures. I believe it's an ability that all human beings possess. It's just that some have a greater skill and talent for that. But I thought this was interesting. Don't you think this is interesting? So I've actually taken this. This was right, me standing in the middle of the street, that you can actually see again. Now, I call this the lemon sun, as they would say. So you can see that it has an odd shape. And by the way, heavy chemtrails. And filtering it out, you can see the distortion. I mean, this was the clouds looking into the mountains. This is actually looking due south. So, as you can see there, this was also taken in my neighborhood. Now, my cameras are like yours. I mean, I got some good cameras. When I get effects like this, it tells me that the optics, and in my camera in this case, was picking up something that clearly in this event, this was very unusual. And I think you have to agree. Now, we see this phenomenon here in the Front Range. Well, I've become more interested when I start seeing these clouds, and I'm going to show you another example of what I'm talking about. Again, my neighborhood. This was last year. Again, I always find it interesting how I can have a sun here, but how what is nothing but clear skies. Well, opaque because of the graciousness of the geoengineering of our weather. By the way, I'm going to do a video, folks, that's going to quite shake up all of us. But let me continue. I digress. Now, I see this object, and I'll just tell you a little story. Last year, right before the 4th of July, at night, this object came over, and it was the most spectacular thing as it moved across the atmosphere. You could actually see it having an impact. And I am showing this to the rest of you. When you see this type of cloud, this is not a normal cloud. The striations here, I believe, are interactions with something. What? I don't know. But the atmosphere reacts to objects, seen or unseen. In this dimension, or existing in codimensions. And as you can see, there was no other clouds like that. And again, heavy, heavy chemtrailing. Heavy. Took this here as well. This was last summer. We were getting very off the scale readings on the UV index. All of us experienced it, particularly here in North America, where you would walk out into the sun and it felt like something was frying you. I called it the microwave effect. Well, this is our hexagon sun. This is from a subscriber up in Wyoming. More clouds. Again, I'm going to do a video on clouds. We take it so much for granted that we understand the science of clouds. Good Lord, we don't even understand our Earth, much less what we think we understand of clouds. And how we get our little friend here all the time. Again, from Wyoming. Beautiful country, by the way. But seriously, is that not just one weird-looking sun? These are mine. I call this the greasy kaleidoscope. I think you can see why, because it is. It was a very strange effect. And I remember I was actually coming out of, I'd had knee surgery and I was actually in physical therapy. And as we were coming out from physical therapy, you could see that there was something disturbing the atmosphere. Now, when you get this, here's the sun right here, or what I suspect it is, but you don't get the uniformity of where you think the light is. And this is just atmosphere. Here's the sun over here. Actually, this, I believe, is a lens flare, but I could be wrong on that. But again, you can see where the sun is. The colors, there you go. Now, is that not bizarre? This was from a subscriber. I believe it was in August. And he caught one of the most rarest phenomenons I have seen. You could almost say that this was a message from whomever. Look at that, folks. And this actually leads in to a very interesting segment as we close this out. I'll leave the comments for you to ask me what this is, but you're not going to like the answer. Here's my little friend. Oh, this one's only about 100 million years old, but check the eyes out. Take me to your later life. Again, strange phenomenon. Are we seeing just lens flares? Are we seeing aberrations of a camera that does light cloak? If you knew how to change the light spectrum, could you decloak a hidden craft? And clouds always give us interpretations, don't they? And then we look at something like this. Gets worse. I often think that the powers to be, there must be some sort of covenant or code on an astral level that before you do bad things to people, you have to kind of let them know. And the way you can let them know is by not actually telling them that they know, but then again, they couldn't deny it if you were to show them. So, well, didn't you see this? And this has always been a really odd currency. Are they trying to tell us something? Whose orbit is this? Yeah. Have any answers for that? What's this? We know this is Earth. Here's Mars, Mercury. Where's the Earth? Here's the Earth. What's going on here? I don't know. You know, I do know that secret societies use codes. Most people are, it's not a case, it's just that we're ignorant. We just never been taught. Now, you can do like I do, and it sometimes costs a lot of money to go and buy books, and get the type of books. You can't just always get them online that begin to delve in to typology. I wanted to show this to everyone. This was back the last time we really had a serious magnetic storm. This was back in June 24th, 2015. I want to show you what a serious maxed out. We only go up to 9. This event, by the way, caused a magnetic reversal. Here it is right here. The hand of God. This, by the way, if you remember seeing the fake sun, or what the sun, the picture from our subscriber up in New York, I can assure you folks, this is an artificial sun generator. I've got hours of video on this device. I always found this one. This was from the Russians, uncensored from NASA. It's not the same sun that NASA shows us on the ISS. This sun has a plasma reaction all the time. This sun has a tendency to break down, but again, we have the characteristic of our halos. UFOs abound. For the viewers who don't know who this is the Black Knight. It turned on, I think, about 4 years ago. It's been sending out signals. We know this. There are 3 different lights here. Every time our space shuttle tried to get near that thing, everything went malfunctioned. Sometimes what the real Earth looks like. ISS is always fun to take a picture at. I'm going to leave you with these. I have captured this. I'll let you take a look at it. What were they filming up there? We know where they were at. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll talk soon.